Hi everyone, my name is Sophie Goodwin and I'm excited to share my work so far as the Town of Durham Sustainability Fellow. My work has revolved around revising the municipal 2025 to 2030 Climate Action Plan, a task which began earlier in the summer that I will continue to implement on a part-time basis throughout the academic year. For those who may be unfamiliar, the Town of Durham is home to the University of New Hampshire, has a population of about 16,000, and is located on the seacoast of New Hampshire. So to start, I've had to familiarize myself with the town's sustainability efforts, as well as the groups involved in action planning, policy, and implementation in the community. Durham has hosted 7 fellows through the UNH Sustainability Fellowship Program. Each summer, fellows have completed a main project, such as a greenhouse gas emissions report, and worked on sustainability implementation throughout the academic year. In 2022, Durham released its first climate action plan with the help of 2 fellows, building off of their first community-wide greenhouse gas emissions report from fiscal year 2019. So the last climate action plan had to account for Durham's committees, departments, commissions, and other groups with varying levels of influence and involvement in decision-making. Part of what sets Durham apart from peer communities is that UNH calls the town home, a fact which increases community emissions, but also adds capacity to municipal function and bolsters townwide sustainable practices. So what works for some communities may not work for Durham, as the university represents a major stakeholder with unique needs and functions. A major part of my work this summer has been situating Durham in all of its different branches of jurisdiction, a process which I have sorted into 3 main categories: involvement, knowledge, and capacity. In order to create a climate action plan that represents the needs and abilities of groups community-wide, it is important to keep these in mind. Involvement refers to the relatedness of a stakeholder group's core activities to climate action and finding ways for them to be included in the plan's narrative if they're willing to be. To test knowledge, it's important to seek out those topics within climate action that group members are passionate about and research ways their interests can be related to the plan. And lastly, looking at capacity involves asking questions like, is this group able to take on more and do they want to? And how can actions as close to their business as usual be involved in the CAP? Often, committee and commission members are juggling responsibilities alongside their full-time jobs and only meet monthly, so it's important to meet them where they are in order to balance aspirations with achievability. As for external stakeholders, I'm readily available to community members through email, the Town of Durham's website, and a virtual suggestion box sent out to residents weekly. I also meet regularly with a sustainability planning and implementation cohort hosted by ICLEI, which is a sustainable consulting firm for local governments that Durham is a part of. In Durham's 2022 Climate Action Plan, an aspirational reduction target was set at 42.8% reduction of 2019 levels by 2030. Part of my responsibility is to see if this is a feasible goal to include in the 2025 to 2030 plan and find the realistic avenues we can explore and invest in to make it happen. So the chart here shows a draft of the business as usual projection where the dotted line represents the reduction goal. As you can see, without intervention, the community would not reach the goal by 2030. However, using ICLEI's ClearPath forecasting tool, I've modeled the changes various reduction measures can make, such as energy efficiency, electrification of both buildings and vehicles, commercially and residentially. Projected reductions in vehicle miles traveled, and development of infrastructure for both public and active transportation. As you can see, the continuous line shows the business as usual projection, while the dotted line is the reduction goal, showing that these reduction measures would actually get the community to reach its goal. The pie chart on the left shows the breakdown in emissions by source, showing that much of the reductions must be made by the UNH and Durham combined community, as municipal emissions actually only account for 3% of total emissions. Since I will continue on part-time with Durham, I have many next steps I can look forward to, including the continued drafting of the plan, as well as meeting with stakeholders and my ICLEI cohort group. I will also disclose Durham's climate-related efforts to CDP and support the implementation of climate action in the community until next May. Thank you all for listening, and a special thank you to my mentor, Todd, advisors Kiera and Zach, advisory group, and to Jen Andrews and Alexis Dwyer for their support and guidance. Thank you.